Good afternoon, friends, neighbors, countrymen, and barrel-chested freedom fighters all around the world. It's salty old Paratrooper and his 2 cents again. Uh, this episode's a little bit off the cuff. As you all know, there's been two mass shootings recently. The last one being down in Texas, down at the elementary school, and it's all very sad, and a lot of it is preventable. I was watching the talking heads this morning. Of course, on the left, they're screaming for assault weapons bans and gun control and a variety of stuff that's not really connected to crime control or stopping these things as much as it is to eliminating personal liberty. On the other hand, my friends on the right and conservatives talk shows are talking about, well, we ought to have retired law enforcement, retired military in the schools, pulling guard. We're spending all these billions overseas, but yet we're not securing our schools. I really don't think that either one is right. The left is definitely wrong. And I really don't think we really need to have retired law enforcement and retired military pulling guard in our schools. The answer is very simple. It's been implemented in some places. Concealed carry permits for teachers. Every school will have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever teachers who can get a concealed carry permit, train with it, and have it available and have it on them. These mass shooters, they don't hit hard targets. When was the last time you heard about a mass shooting in a police station? Never. Now, soft targets, like schools, shopping centers, or even nursing homes or something like that, those are all soft targets. You don't want to be a soft target. So, it's been done. It's being done in other places. And honestly, it's the simplest, easiest solution. Now, I grew up in a different time, different place, a little rural school. I think elementary, junior high, high school, there may have been 500 students. But back then, growing up, and there were firearms everywhere at that school. And people who knew how to use them. I had a gym teacher at junior high. He was an infantryman in the 101st Airborne. No stranger to combat. And I even had a ag teacher. I didn't really appreciate that time being a rebellious teen, but he was a reserve deputy sheriff, and I'm sure he had his service weapon nearby all the time. And of course, growing up in a very rural environment, it was not uncommon for firearms to be in the students' vehicles. 22 shotguns, maybe a deer rifle during deer season. Heck, we used to bring our hunting bows to PE when we were doing archery. But I digress. But that was a relatively hardened target. No one was going to go in there and shoot up the school because someone would get access to a firearm and they get shot. Very simple. Now, I know there's a lot of teachers today, and of course the teachers' unions, they scream, a teacher, it's not our job to be a policeman. Well, no, it's not your job to be a policeman. But at the same time, you can't have a policeman everywhere. And as a society, we've gotten away from being self-reliant. Myself, I am responsible for my safety and my children's safety. So if I was a teacher, and knowing that I work in a place that has possibility of a mass shooter, I want to be able to prepare to defend myself and my students. Now, if I'm going to do that job, out of self-preservation, I just want to be able to defend myself. And I would think out of compassion and giving a darn about your students, you'd want to be able to defend them too. But a lot of this goes back to America as a culture, we're not as self-reliant as it used to be. We're always waiting for somebody to solve our problems. In this case, they want a policeman right there. And frankly, we don't really have the budgets. I mean, in some places they do, I'm sure. And in some places they have school resource officers. But a lot of smaller or poorer schools may or may not have that option. The simple thing is for us to take care of ourselves and take care of those around us. Because if we're self-reliant, we have self-confidence. And if we have self-confidence, we'll have self-discipline to do what we have to do. And if that includes defending our children from some Looney Tune, whether it be with a knife, a gun, or a bomb, have the capability and internal fortitude to do it. Well, like I said, this is kind of a short rant. So gentlemen, ladies, continue to train, watch your six, and God bless America.